Hello fellow photographers. Today I'm going to show you how to achieve a tilt shift effect in Photoshop. Okay, so first things first, what is a tilt shift effect? What this is when you take an image and you make it look like the subject is like a model from a toy train set or something like that. You generally achieve this effect by using a tilt shift lens. Those are very expensive. If I ever happen to find myself with enough money lying around just to justify buying one, there's a lot of cool things you can do with one, from making images look like they're models of something to correcting perspective of an image without having to utilize Photoshop. One of the coolest things is dodging a reflection. So if you wanted to record or take a picture of someone directly looking at a mirror without any Photoshop editing of removing the camera, this is a great way of doing something like that. But this particular effect we're going to be doing is making a scene look like it is a model from a toy train set or something like that. So let's jump into Bridge here. We've got this picture here. I took this picture in DC about a week and a half ago. I was standing on the Lincoln Memorial. I was looking out over, I think that's Harry Bacon Drive. And just when I stood there before I lifted my camera, I even thought to myself, this would make a great tilt shift picture. So I took a picture, and that's what we're going to do here. The reason this stood out more than some other pictures that would make a great tilt shift picture, it's because to get the best results with one of these type of pictures, when you're not using a tilt shift lens, best way to fake this is you want to be at a higher perspective, and you kind of want to point down at your subject. That's generally the main things you want to do. You also don't really want any motion blur, so you want to take that with a higher shutter speed. I've got a little bit of motion blur if you look in the right here by the trees, but that's not really enough for me to worry about. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this on how to achieve the effect. So let's go ahead and open this up in Photoshop. This is a RAW, so first it's going to open in Adobe Camera Raw. Just did some basic color corrections here, and I did some masking because I knew what I was going to do here. So let's shut them off for a second. First thing I did was I made the sky a little more blue, and then I made the grass a little more green. This is going to kind of play into the model aspect a little bit better. So let's go ahead and open this up. And this is actually a very easy effect to do, and it can all be done non-destructively. So what we're going to do first is we're going to convert this to a smart object. This way we can edit everything non-destructively here. We're going to add a filter, and it's going to be a blur. And we're going to go a Gaussian blur. That's fine for now. It might actually be perfect. We've got our gradient here, and we're going to select the mask. We're going to hold down the shift key, and we're going to just draw a line somewhere until we figure out where this looks best. I'm kind of thinking somewhere right around there is going to be good. So as you can see, the foreground here is all blurred out. The background is all blurred out, but it's done so in a straight path. So it kind of looks like I got close up to this toy model and I took the picture. So immediately these cars, these people, they no longer look like real people. This all now looks like a toy setup. So that is a very quick tutorial. Actually, it's a very simple way of doing it. You're just using a gradient mask, a Gaussian blur, and an image that is shot from higher up than your subject, pointing down with a faster shutter speed. Now you can play with it a little more, being non-destructively. We can edit the blur of this if I want it to be more blurry. Obviously that starts to look a little fake. I can kind of come down a little bit, bring it down. Now, if I want to keep it blurry, what I'd probably do is I'd probably select this and I'd feather it a little more. just to try to achieve a more gradual blur, but it still looks a little too funky. So if we bring it down to, right about where 13 is, that tends to look best. And that's even with the filter or the feather. We can do with or without. At this low of a blur, it's not really changing a whole lot for me. So yeah, that was it for the video. I know it's a very short one, but I've got something planned for next week, and it's going to take a little more time for me to get that finished. So I thought I'd knock this one out really quickly. I hope this was informative. I hope you have some fun doing this. And I will see you next week. Happy shooting.